If you've been wanting to use a twin needle or double needle on your Husqvarna Viking Brilliance 75Q, this video is going to walk you through all the steps that you need. Now, we're also going to use this with some decorative stitches, which is something I love to do, and we do in our Husqvarna Viking Stitching Cosmos online course, and we've got some free videos for you to watch down in the description. But the key is understanding a little bit about the twin needle and also what it takes to put two threads in your sewing machine. So you can take a decorative stitches, sew it with a single needle, and then put in a twin needle, and they look totally different. We also use a twin needle when we do pin tucks. So here is just apparently a half of a twin needle block here, but those pin tucks are done also when you sew with two needles. So there's lots of things that we can do. I happen to have a little extra bonus blocks around, and you can kind of see that the twin needle can be a lot of fun, including the decorative stitches that you use when you pick once you have it all threaded up. Okay, so speaking of threading this up, first off, before you do anything, even before you put your needle on, let's go into the machine and tell it we're going to put the twin needle on and what size. So twin needles come, and they're usually in millimeters. So for example, this one is 2.0 millimeters. That means the distance between the two needles are very close. They're actually just 2 millimeters apart. So on this machine, you can go all the way up to 6 millimeters wide. Oh my gosh, they look like fangs. And you can, there's 3, there's 4, there's smaller than 2, but you can actually go into the settings. So touch the 3 dots in the orange area, go into settings and select twin needle. We're going to use a 2.0. So we're going to set that and do the check mark. Now here's something really easy when you start playing with the decorative stitches is as soon as you pick a stitch, you're going to get to see it doubled. So as you look at the screen, you can go, oh yeah, that'd be fun. Or what about that one? Or that one. This one's actually, it's a utility stitch and it looks super fun with a twin needle in it. Okay, so that's something neat that you're going to see once you activate that function. So it's also what it's doing, it's going to make sure that you don't overstep the boundaries of your presser foot and make it so it breaks the needle. So everything is going to be reduced to stay correct, and I don't have to think about worrying about breaking it. So that's number 1. Number 2, go ahead and unthread the machine. Yes, you are going to need a place to put the second spool, but one of the things I do recommend to a lot of my students is actually a thread stand. This one happens to be metal, so it doesn't like fall over when you use it, and you just set it next to the machine, and then it goes up to the little guide right up here. So that's the easiest way to do it. So if your spool doesn't want to fit nicely up here, or it kind of falls or puddles and gets all caught, just use a thread stand. I'm going to do the same right here since I have it. Thread stands are great for when you use like metallic threads or clear threads. It gives time for the thread to relax. Okay, that's my little thread stand spiel. Next, you're going to thread the machine as normal until you get to where you come down the first guide here. This is where we're going to stop. Have you noticed this little piece of metal that's in here? In the first groove, those are your tension discs down in between here. But when we have 2 threads, we need one to go on the left side of that piece of metal and one to go on the right. That way each thread gets its own tension discs. And usually what I do at this point, just to make sure that I have gotten everything in correctly, I'm going to hold this in my hand, come all the way down. I'm holding both threads, come all the way up, and then just make sure that you give everything a little tug and a little floss. That makes sure that as I gently lay them down in there, that they go down far enough. So if you're sewing or you start off with this for the first time and one thread's just kind of catching and there's loops on the back, it's just because you didn't get all the threads far enough into the tension discs. Okay, then just continue as normal. Yes, we are going to switch the needle out, and the needle threader will no longer work because this is designed for just a single needle. So you're going to watch me hand thread the two needles, and it doesn't matter which thread goes in which needle. So it doesn't matter if one goes in the right and one goes on the left, just pick one and put it in. At this point, I like to just sew a straight stitch on a sample piece of fabric and make sure that I have all the threads working as they should. So once it's threaded, it's good to go. If it's not threaded correctly, just start over. And yes, you can use the thread cutter, so feel free to use that. So you have 2 rows of stitches there. And what do we see on the back? The bobbin is going to be doing kind of double duty. So you're going to kind of see that it's catching both sides, giving it a look of a zigzag. So at this point, because we've told the machine you've got a twin needle on, you can pick any stitch you want. Remember that one that I said I kind of liked in the utility stitches? Let's just go ahead and stitch it. So everything's going to work just the same as normal. So just go ahead and do some stitching. You can probably find that some of your favorite stitches you've done for your stitch book. And if you haven't done a stitch book, check out our videos on what to do to stitch out all your decorative stitches. It's worth it. Is to go back and do some of your favorites with a twin needle. Gosh, you could actually do all the stitches with a twin needle. It's pretty amazing. And as you can see, and based on the colors that you pick, you will find you'll get some very unique thread combinations and looks of different stitches than what you were probably expecting. So you will find that twin needles, knowing how to thread them and also how to use them, will give you lots of fun options as you go. Again, something we do in our Stitching Cosmos online course. You can find some free videos in the links below. And don't forget, if this has been helpful, make sure you click like on the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. You can also find the complete playlist of all the videos that we've done on the Husqvarna Viking Brilliance 75Q.